Anybody, welcome everybody. It's Saturday for a Worlds Collide community race. My name is the Schwantz27, and I am joined in the commentary booth by the man, the myth, the legend himself, One Free Fitz. How are we doing tonight?
Oh, fantastic. Just excited to check out what's going on here. Unfortunately, the commentary team has been captured by Kefka this evening, and
Oh
our
no, save
racers,
us.
our racers, Double Down, Falcon Hit, Gar, and Jax Frock are going to have to go really fast and save us. But you've wired up a nice pirate signal so we can broadcast what's going on. We do have Ceiling Cat scrying on our racers, tracking their progress, and myself, and we'll be joined later by a Prebz to broadcast the pirate radio to the world.
That is fantastic, and of course, since your name is One Free Fitz, like the character, or is it? It's actually Fritz in Chrono Trigger that you've set free out of the jail, isn't it? It's not Fitz.
It's Fritz, but Fitz is often spoken as Fritz unintentionally. So I feel a certain kinship with him, and I do advocate freeing him. But also myself, I don't like to be trapped in Kefka's tower. There's a lot of junk up here. Doesn't smell very good.
Yeah, no, of course not. This is not vanilla chess, so there might very well be junk in the chest in Kefka's tower for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you talk us through what we're seeing tonight here, Fitz?
So we're gonna see a flag set called Edgar Chainsaw as part of a larger event coming up, Coliseum 2. And so there's a couple of things I want to point out. Our unlock here for the final boss, 6 characters, 9 espers. We've also got the KT skip with defeating 12 bosses. And then we've got some bonus objectives. So doing the Dome of Dream, gonna give us that sword tech, 3 of them.
Juicy.
We start out with +5 to vigor and magic power. Doing the Zozo clock puzzle gets us a set of tools and a high tier item, which is great. So we start with Edgar. And the champion's reward for winning in the Coliseum is +10 to speed, magic, vigor, and stamina.
Wow, that's nice. So it's a 10% boost across the board if somebody wins a Coliseum match.
Yep, definitely. And then a couple other things to note. Gold is scarce because we've got the barter shops, which means
very cool.
Everything is 2,000 gold, and everything sells for 500.
Okay, so it's sell 4 items to get 1 item.
Exactly.
Okay.
The chests are 20% randomized, so pretty good. I think our runners will be happy to see any chests that have big piles of gold inside.
Oh, for sure.
Because, we can find 2,000 gold.
We start with 3,000, right? So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah. Because we can find, like, Illuminas for 2,000, or there are elemental shields in the shop. That's a favorite to find in mine for a barter sheet. There are no super balls, and the scaling is at 2.5 times progression. So a little bit tougher than the
usual
Ultros League, with a cap at 50. So
okay, we are going to be slightly more powerful though, right? Especially because we get +5 strength and +5 magic right off the rip, and then if you go fight in the Coliseum, of which I think half of the items are visible in the Coliseum 2 flags. I think it's right around half. It's like 120, so that's basically half, right? If you win a Coliseum match, you get +10 to everything. So we're going to be a little bit more powerful than in our normal seed too.
Yeah, getting that +15 to magic all day, with like a high magic character, or even an average magic character like a Mog Shadow or Gao, we'll turn them into useful pretty quickly.
And obviously, as Ceiling Cat has already noted on our overlay here, we do start with Edgar, since this is his flag set after all, right? And he has his vanilla command of tools. So we do start with 1 tools, as you just saw Jexy go past the flag set, or the flags for this seed. So we do get 1 starting tool, but you can, however, get all of the tools if you set the Zozo clock. So we'll see if any of our runners decide to do that. I would expect that anybody would only do that if they could walk around, don't really find much in the shops, don't really find anything in the Coliseum, and don't really find anything in chests either. Because it does take a little bit to do, and if you're not doing Cyan or Terra's Zozo related checks, then you shouldn't be over there anyway, right? So we'll see how that goes. I do have the short to run, so I will mute my mic and we will run the short here, and I will mute whoever this weird double down music that's throwing me off. So hold on a second while we run this brief little Coliseum ad fluff. Let's see, where is it? Here it is.
Backed by popular demand, Coliseum 2 is a Worlds Collide event that makes every racer a true gladiator of the arena. Face off in a series of live synchronous head-to-head races to become the Coliseum champion. How does it work? Competitors will first have a tryout in a week-long placement async race. The first 32 times will move on to the double elimination Coliseum tournament. All other players that did not qualify will enter a single elimination consolation tournament called Chupon's Pit. Both tournaments will run alongside one another with a very special flag set. Each flag set is specifically themed based on one of the 14 characters in the Final Fantasy VI game. The Coliseum event starts November 27th and will run through the first full week of February. For more information, rules, and race times, head over to www.ff6wc.com/discord.
All right. Awesome sauce. So that's our little our advertisement for the day. Thank you to our sponsors for sponsoring the stream.
Yeah, just an incredible promo. And I want to introduce our racers real quick.
Yep, go for it.
Before we get in. So we've got in the green trunks with the white trim, Double Down, like the commissioner of our Ultras League. In the black trunks with the, I'm going to call that magenta trim, we've got Gar, MFT champion. In the default trunks, the blue with the white trim, Falcon Hit. And in the black trunks with the white trim, but also the purple accents, Jexferox. So, all very good racers. I expect to see us going pretty fast, getting rescued in a short amount of time.
I hope so, because I'm dying up here. It's cold and lonely up in Kefka's Tower, right? It's the temperatures are getting chilly outside. Double Down getting promoted to Mega Elixir from Elixir this season. Gar getting promoted to Elixir from Potion. Falcon Hit and Jexferox both in the Mega Elixir division from Ultros League. So this will be a really cool race to see. And who else are we starting with here?
And Mog and Setzer.
Okay, Setzer's got health. Is that what that is?
I saw health. And Mog's got rage.
Very nice.
IO. That's the only one I saw. I happen to have my rage sheet still open from the Gao seed I was playing earlier. Yeah. So why is IO so good?
So IO is a rage that is fire elemental, and it is actually based on the level of the target that you are fighting against, and not based on your own magic power. So it's pretty gnarly early on in seeds, because in our scaling we talked about it's 2.5 times your progression, and in this case that's characters, espers, and dragons. So right now, the bosses that we're going to fight are level either 8 or 9 or sometimes even 10. So you'd be doing level 10 damage as a level 3 character, right? And obviously that just increases over time. So that's why the IO Rage is pretty popular. Plus, it's an AoE that does not do split damage, unlike a lot of other magic spells which do split damage over multiple targets. So it's got its pretty good attributes with it. The only downfall, like I said, is it's not directly tied to magic power. So if you have a high magic power user, it doesn't really matter. It just matters about the level of the target. So it looks like Double Down and Jexy are both heading up the mountain. Same with Falcon Hit for this lone wolf here. Interesting call early on.
Yeah, it makes sense. I noted a few good items. Ooh, a Terra at Kefka Nurse that they found. A Mega Elixir, a Force Armor, and there's something else.
And a
too.
Grandpa.
So a couple of high tier items in the Lone Wolf Treasure Room. The Grandpa, interesting. But I saw also on Gar's side, the returners offered a Noise Blaster, as well as a Hero Ring, and I think like a Coronet. There were a couple of good things there as well.
Yeah, so even though the chests are on 20% random, I believe you said, the shops are actually 100% random. So there we see Gar looking at some cheap Mega Elixirs, and it looks like Double Down is electing to not take Terra. Same with Falcon Hit. Oh, and Jexy goes and grabs the EXP egg instead of Grandpa. See you later, old man!
Yeah, he can always go and get him in the mines later, and I think seeing Terra there is like, okay, I know where 5 characters are. If I don't want him right now, I'm taking that egg.
Yeah, I think I would have taken the egg too. Leave Grandpa on the bench. Especially with Terra there.
The egg is very powerful, especially early.
Yeah, super powerful. It'll double your XP for whichever character has it equipped, right? So, and it looks like Jexy sending Strago down to the depths of hell is going to go ahead and take this battle on. Did you happen to see which tool we started with?
I did not. I know I saw one of the runners, the Clock and Narsh, had an air anchor in it.
Okay. So presumably the people that did Narsh first are going to have that air anchor, which is helpful if you have enemies that are susceptible to instant death. And it looks like Jexy's going to do some grinding here, and these are almost vanilla fights, are they not? The Dobermans and the soldiers here?
Do these give experience?
I think they do, but I'm never sure.
Because I feel like
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I feel like the Dobermans don't, and we're seeing a basement fight in South Figaro.
Gar is fighting some Mews, except it's one Mew. I think we started with the chainsaw, which is great. It's one of the better tools. It will ignore defense, and it does a lot of damage. The problem is it has a 25% chance to try to proc instant death, and that doesn't work if the enemies that you're fighting are not instant deathable. Falcon It and Double Down with the sync airship landing and the Figaro throne check. I like this.
Yeah, we'll see what's there. We also have some half-price shopping we can do in the castle.
That's right. If Edgar is in the front of the party, it's an Imp Sprite. It is a Magicite, so that's Carbuncle for Falcon Hit, and Double Down, I'm assuming, will grab the same. So notice they are doing some free checks with that IO Rage. That'll pump up the levels of the enemies. I also saw we had the Siegfried Rage, which is Flare. So that's a single target defense ignoring spell. And that's an economizer for real cheap there. Normally not that big of a deal, but early on in Seeds can be really good when you don't have enough MP to cast basically anything.
Yeah, that's a get. If we find like a Bahamut, this will make it great. I see a couple things in chat, so let me answer. Kurgzy, the Light of Judgment is not warm. So that's why we're cold. We're really high on the air. It is a barter seed. Everything's 2,000 gold, unless you have the king discount.
It's good to be the king, right?
Isn't
that a Mel Brooks movie or something like that?
Yeah, and things only sell for 500, and we've got the 1x gold multiplier.
Speaking of king, Aprebs has joined us. Welcome, Aprebs. I'm sorry that
Hello, everybody.
Kefka was torturing you a little bit here, so I'll step back and let you two duke it out for, vocal supremacy.
Oh, it's always nice to have you with us once as well. Feel free to chime in anytime.
No problem.
But hello, One Free Fits. Hello, chat. Thanks. Sorry for being a little late here, but excited to see this Edgar seed of the Coliseum 2.
Yeah, and so far we've seen our runners kind of running around, getting loot, doing some shopping.
Yeah, the usual.
We've seen some characters. We saw an old man get kicked down the cliffs.
And it looks like here's a Zozo clock play from Falcon Hit.
We are getting a little clock puzzle time. So Schwantz and I are talking ahead of the race. I know how to do this, but I never really want to. It is helpful to prepare. He suggested writing down the possible times, and then as one's talking, just crossing them off on the piece of paper. And then Falcon has talked to everyone in line. Ooh, a golem for Gar. That's a good one in Kolingen.
You know what's odd? I was going to say, what's odd to me is that our runners know where Terra is, right? And Terra is great for combining the clock with this check because you're already walking up this tower to talk to all the NPCs anyway, right? So you might as well have picked her up. Meanwhile, Gar is in Miranda. And we're going to get rescued early. Look at Jexy. He's already fighting Kefka.
Great. Oh wait, it's the wrong one. It's in the past. I did see a cat hood for sale in Miranda.
Yes, that might be what Gar is trying to sell and find money for.
The high tier item with the clock was a Valiant knife. And we've got multiple party members that can use the Valiant knife, so it definitely pays off this seed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I wonder when we're going to see our runners hit up the Coliseum for that win bonus.
And our first boss of the seed is dead for Jexy. So, I think you mentioned this, right? It's 12 boss kills for the skip?
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, shout out to Captain Yoo-Hoo for doing some add-ons to our tracker to get something for the number of checks completed and the number of bosses killed. We don't really care about the number of checks in this instance, but we do care about the number of bosses. So, sorry, Ceiling Cat, you got more buttons to push.
Yeah, I know we say buttons to push, like it's easy, but when you're watching, I did this recently, so I can say watching 4 runners all getting stuff, usually like in bunches together, it's definitely a bit stressful. So I always want to shout out our trackers for doing a good job pushing those buttons.
Yeah. Well, you did the tracking on Thursday night, right? And
Yeah.
It was impressive because you were also kind of like doing commentary in the chat as well. So very impressive.
Yeah,
So
I'm not sure. I might mute Double Down stream. I'm not sure how I feel about this key change music going on for here. Like, he's a little pitchy, on his emulator. I don't know if I like this.
We've seen a peek at a couple of these espers that on Falcon Hit's screen. I saw a Fire 3, I saw Flare. So we got some good spells from these early espers that have been available.
And with that cheap economizer, who was it that found the economizer? With that cheap economizer, then that'll be really, really beneficial in this early game. Ooh, an experience egg for Jexy.
Yeah, that was the choice on that Mog presented, was Strago or Experience Egg. Oh, another one.
Yeah.
That's 2 all day for Jexy.
Oh, and none of our other runners have Terra yet, so I don't think they're going to go there. Falcon Hit does pick up the Experience Egg from the Moogle room, though, here. And we'll see what Cougar chooses. Does he choose Grandpa or does he choose Egg? Predictions in the chat. Let's see it.
Oh, yeah. Predictions. Get them in now. Get them in now.
He's taking the Grandpa.
Oh, he goes Grandpa. All right.
Is it just me, or is the music getting faster and faster now? I don't know what to make of this.
It's just, you know, weird stuff happens when you're prisoner in Kefka's tower, like our restream team is right now.
Meanwhile, Falcon hit face to face with some pugs down there.
So I think about in a barter seed, places like the sealed cave where there's those invisible things on the ground that we can pick up that I would normally never do. They're worth 500 gold still, and so I will go out of my way a little bit more early on and run up my chest count until I feel like I'm set.
We've got Gar doing a Kefka and Arsh.
I'm also surprised
Sabin
to see...
at the end of the sealed cave there.
Oh, wow. The characters are just falling out of the seed. I'm surprised that both of our runners who did Kefka and Arsh decided to bench Edgar with the chainsaw. Seems strange to me.
I mean, did you see that promo? That Edgar is dangerous.
He's killing everybody on his own team.
That's true, he one-shot Cyan.
Yeah. And speaking of Strago getting kicked, Sabin kicks him right in the face. You know.
With this set of like opening characters, there's so many checks available. I think we're gonna see some real divergence here, just because of the sheer amount of choices.
Yeah. No. I mean, and I love that. I love seeing the divergence. Sometimes it's cool seeing runners in sync, but I love being able to just see like what can be such an outcome of different paths. Because if you see the same runner take the same path, it's kind of like, okay, who's gonna make that one decision that makes things a little bit different and puts them ahead. But when they're so different, it's just another way of seeing like, wow, like based on their knowledge, they were able to get a leg up, deciding to go this way versus that way. So I was like seeing that.
Yeah, 100%. I think with the scaling being at 2.5 and capping at 50, I found myself like doing more fixed and counter checks kind of early on to make sure I was keeping up or ideally getting ahead of scaling.
I like that. Yeah, I like that idea.
It can depend on the tools that we have, you know, like having an egg, there's like a Valiant knife. We've seen some level 3 magic within the Economizer.
No pun intended here in this seed, right?
Yeah, and actual tools. There are things that, you know, we could see a runner take a more riskier move, run up free progression, scaling, and then, you know, try to like slingshot up in levels through plowing through some checks.
Oh, and your wish has come true. It looks like Double Down is in the Coliseum.
I've noticed I tend to go there as my
rods, but not much in there.
As my kind of cheap hoods in South Figaro, it looks like. Checks is 3,000 or 30,000 gold in a barter seed. they must have found a bucket of cash and a treasure. But I was saying that I found going to Coliseum is kind of my like last to do before I really try to like start plowing checks in a seed, because I don't want to go there before characters have a bunch of magic spells and I end up sitting there watching them like scan, dispel.
Yeah.
AI gonna AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, Falcon Hit just picked a random like awful item. Oh.
Ooh.
I don't think that counts as a win.
No, it doesn't.
It's a tie.
Yeah.
That's awful. He's picking random items out of his inventory and just seeing what they are. Which is interesting, because you could sell these for 500 apiece, right?
I'm into that, and like, if there's nothing I like and I want to win one, might as well take a shot in the dark.
Well, not just that.
Illuminati.
Let's just win one Coliseum battle and get +10 to all of the stats that matter, right? That's also true, too.
Agreed. Audio is good. Good to hear. Thanks, Mogray.
Yes, thanks for that feedback.
We've got Haydn and the Haydnites in the sky. Just an undead lich flying around the world.
So yeah, vastly different places right now. You know, Double Down over here in Daryl's tomb. Gar is finishing up his work in Nourish, and yeah, we got Falcon Hit up in the sky right now. I like this. I like to see where these diverging paths will take us.
Yeah, I saw on Double Down screen we've got Prussian as a rage as well.
Oh, okay.
Which is one of my faves. Let's see. Yeah, when we have a lot of checks available, I think we get to see the character of the runner come out a little bit more of the types of checks they prefer to do when they have options.
Oh yeah.
And we haven't really seen many bosses go down yet.
Not many. There's a behemoth suit. Where's Jexy at right now? But
we got some pugs in the Narsh monster in the box.
Question for you guys: since the skip is at 12 bosses, do you think that runners will tend to favor checks with bosses versus checks that are either free or checks that have just fixed encounters, like, you know, Imperial Camp or I'm trying to think of another one. Oh, Serpent Trench, like ones like that. What do you think?
Probs, I'll let you answer that one first.
I think kind of what Fitz was just saying. I think it depends on like the character of the runner. I think there may be some who are really comfortable and just have great knowledge of like of which checks offer espers, which checks offer the characters versus items, and they might just go their normal kind of run and go through the seed as normal. And others who maybe favor offense maybe a little bit more and like taking the fight and doing that, they might be like, oh, you know what? Like, this is going to be worth it. I'm going to go just hardcore boss rush and get the skip that way.
Yeah, and I think I would add to that, 9 is really kind of the magic number that I think our racers are looking for in terms of bosses. Because if we have 9 bosses, we can go to Kefka's Tower, take our strongest party up that middle path, and by fighting Inferno, the Guardian spot, and the statue, we get to 12, and then we can warp out, take the skip, and take the remaining 2 statues with like half of our strongest party. So I think it's a lot safer, but I have wondered sometimes about getting 12 by just fighting fast bosses outside of the tower, taking the skip and warping in and just doing it.
Yeah. Well, and that's a strat that we saw on Wednesdays, I believe. Wednesday's run on Speed Gaming, where we did the run where it was 15 bosses needed to unlock the tower. And people got up to, I think 2 of the runners decided to go, or maybe not Wednesday, maybe it was Thursday's turning of the month. I forget which one. But they had to get 15 bosses, and they went to like 12 or 13. It was Wednesday. So yeah, and they got like 12 or 13 bosses, and then they went to the tower and finished off their bosses in the tower. There we go. Schwantz put it in the chat. He's fact checking me all day. I love it. But
yeah, he was part of that race, so he knows directly.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Yeah, that's right.
There was one boss in particular that I remember fighting multiple
This
times,
one,
and he
that's
may
on
or may not
double
be
down
on the
screen.
screen right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That was.
I may be having bad flashbacks at the moment, so
Yeah.
BRB,
I remember
everybody.
I remember you typing in the chat like Doom sucks. But yeah, that was we got Doom here for Double Down. Let's see how this goes for him. Meanwhile, Gar is fighting Vargas.
Yeah, Vargas is not tough. It can be slow because that big old guy's got a lot of hit points.
That's right.
Margaret pointing out, I have in a Coliseum race in the past found myself at 11 bosses when I unlock KT. And in that case, I will usually load up and just run in and do toilet Atma. Because usually when that happens, it means I had to go over requirements to get the KT unlock. And so I feel more confident doing the split party and just getting the skip the fastest way possible. And Schwann's pointing out in this Doom fight that our Fire 3 caster does not have MP. And so our like, kind of high damage option is not available.
Yeah.
I see number 20, 128. Where's that spot? Where's Falcon at?
So, answering a question in the chat, Falcon Hit is in Ebbets Rock. Basically, it's an RNG dungeon where all of the rooms are randomly generated except for the boss room, the entrance, and the save point room. So you just basically have to go around and collect enough coral from a chest in order to unlock the boss. And even if you get enough coral, sometimes you have to find the boss room. And that's that's probably what Falcon Hit was doing, was trying to find the boss room. But that's another boss down for him and the Phoenix Esper. So there you go.
I like to count the number of switches that I have to step on in Hide and Cave after I get enough coral. And I think like 3 is I think the lowest number I've ever gotten. I usually feel good about staying under 10.
Yeah. Our RNG based ones like that are always a little like pulling out your hair inducing.
I see Kurgzy in chat asking about the Coliseum reward. Schwantz has got it. Plus 10 magic, plus 10 strength, plus 10 speed, plus 10 stamina. It is the Coliseum too, so the seeds are telling us go to the Coliseum.
They should have called this the Coliseum 10. But it also applies to any characters you recruit, even after you've done the Coliseum. So you'll notice, the runners who did do the Coliseum, the characters that they're recruiting, they're going to be swole.
Yeah. So far, Double Down and Falcon Hit, I believe, are the only ones who have. Although Jexy is currently deciding what to barter in his Coliseum battle here. Now, Xander from Daryl's Tomb there for Double Down.
Go down.
And there you go. You can see the rewards right there on Jexy's screen.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen anything visible that our runners have had that is like a must-have.
Another Miranda visit from Double Down. Popular place with barter seed, huh?
Getting a red cab. Usually not many people go here, and so I can see in a barter seed trying to get like a little bit of an edge where it's like, ooh, if I find, an Illumina or a Valiant Knife there that nobody else does, I'm gonna have, be going a lot faster than my competitors. Are we getting where? A burning house? I'm excited for this.
Found some earrings in that barrel there. Nice.
This could just be a loot visit. A horn.
Well, I think you said it right, Fitz. Like, I would be doing checks with the scaling harder than normal that have, forced encounters in them. So Burning House might not actually be that bad of an idea here, but...
Ooh, a snow muffler and Magus hat and Tomasa as well.
Also, you have to remember, right, this is a race against... It's 3 other people on the stream, but there's also, like, 3 other people in the race room. It's pretty poppin' for a Saturday. So maybe you do a check that some people might not do, right, as a way to get ahead.
Yeah.
Although with the amount of characters that we've seen, I don't know what could be in here that would separate, Double Down from the rest of the pack.
I'm trying to think like a Cyan has dense checks that are also fast. Or like the Magitech factory has 4 bosses. So it's a way to rack up bosses real quick. I can see a couple that might be a big swing, but chances are probably low based on what we've already seen. Maybe chat can contribute too. Who would y'all want to see as that like one character here that could turn the race?
Another economizer for Gar from that dragon. A lot of the bosses are taking a long time here, and I definitely think that's due to the increased beefiness in the scaling, for sure. Although Doom is an annoying boss, as I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
I think on the surface, like the difference between 2 times and 2.5 is like that's like 0.5 more. It's not that much, but I would call it a sneaky increase. That there's been a couple times since we switched over to it in the Coliseum flag set that I've been like, oh, that boss was real slow, and I'm like 5 levels behind scaling.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that trying to go for those checks with the fixed encounters is, I always feel like it's sometimes like especially if I'm behind on levels or anything like that, like I always find it to be an efficient way of going through a check because I'm like killing 2 birds with 1 stone,
Levels are the most important, and there's a reset from Gar. Yeah, levels are the most important thing in Worlds Collide. Gar needs some sleeping bags or a tent or something to heal up his party. He's got 1 character with 9 HP, 1 with 30 HP. It's pretty bad. Although that might be the first time I've ever seen a wipe to a tunnel armor.
They were throwing bolt edges out there, and I think that's scaling too. He's at 6 + 2 + 1. That's gonna be 9 times 2.5. We're over 20 in terms of the boss level of that tunnel armor.
Well, Guard does have access to a Valiant Knife, doesn't he? Is that gonna, depending on who he has it on, that
no, I think Falcon
could help.
I think Falcon is the only one that did the clock, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw a Valiant Knife somewhere else, though.
Or just a loose one.
Yeah. Pretty sure it was Gar. Not sure
There
though.
we go. Revenge on Tunnel Armor by Gar. So my
Maybe
co-commentators...
someone in the chat can back me up. And
do we have any sense of who is ahead right now? Any feelings or forecasts on if anyone's kind of scooted out to a lead?
Well, Gar, I think just by numbers, no, because Gar just by numbers seems to have the lead, but his boss fights are taking an awful long time. However, Jax has a character that none of our other ones do in Sabin, so that's kind of important to keep in mind sometimes, is if all of these other runners' checks end up dry, then that means they're going to have to go get Sabin at some point, right? And that was what, Sealed Gate? Gar is the only one that has Terra. Double Down and Falcon hit.
yeah,
Terra was at Kefka at Narsh, and Falcon and Double Down are not going back to Kefka at Narsh. It's just not happening. So, if they need Sabin to finish the seed, then Double Down and Falcon hit are SOL, as they say.
Mm-hmm. We saw... Was that Vanilla Tentacles? Yeah. But they weren't there long. Celis was at the Welk check. Because Gar does have Celis. I think he went there on the way down from Kefka and Narsh. I like to do that a lot.
yeah.
If I find her up there. It is the Edgar chainsaw flask set, so Falcon hit the first one to finish off the Edgar checks. So we'll give him a bonus point.
Bing. Bonus point. I mean, I'd say that Falcon Hit's numbers are looking decent here as well. He is sitting only at 4 characters, but he has the most espers here and the most bosses. So sitting pretty decent here, I would say.
Yeah, we're seeing Double Down head up to Kefka and Narsh. I wonder I don't think they've done their Mog check yet either, so... No, they have Strago, they did. So they're coming back.
Yeah, Kurgzy and I on the same page right now.
Yeah, Falcon is doing a lot of damage. Doom.
Of course, like 2 seconds after I said Double Down is never going back to Kefka at Narsh. See,
this
is why I'm restreaming and not doing commentary. I'll shut up now for the rest of the stream, I promise.
You know, you were making a probabilistic prediction, and you were wrong, but it's still a good insight.
Yeah. With the scaling the way it is, speaking of fixed encounters and such, would you guys opt to fight some of these soldiers here for Kefka at Narsh as just extra battles to get in?
That's a good question. I would probably not in most cases. I found from just missing the skip that if I take 1, I'm going to take like 4 encounters. So unless I felt really behind, I would probably just crash through.
Illumina for Falcon Hit there. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, that's a big deal. That was off a dragon.
Yes.
And I see a gauntlet, I believe, was put on, which I'm a big fan of. That's a big ol' sword to swing with 2 hands.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that. We felt Falcon had like a lot of power, and I think we see a lot of runners don't like the Edgar checks. I'm honestly one of them. I'm working on it. I'm trying to reform that. But this was a case where they've kind of paid off pretty big time in terms of loot and levels so far.
Yeah.
Oh, and an offering and money. Yeah, the ancient castle is it's kind of a commitment.
Yeah.
Oh, Falconhead is a VK knife on Mog.
That's
They're about to
right.
be
That's
going
the one he got
fast.
from the Zozo clock. Yeah. So now, yeah, he's got an Illumina with a gauntlet
Dear
and
Lord,
a
did you
Valiant
see the
knife,
damage
and now
on
he's
that?
getting an offering.
Yeah, that was doing
Yeah.
like
That was 5,500 damage. That's plus 10 strength for you there. Jeez.
We're about to have another murder mock.
Mhm. If I'm sitting with that equipment and the EXP egg,
Oh,
I don't think I'm opening chests.
wow.
Oh,
And an Atma weapon.
You were saying? Yeah, so I would now give that EXP
Wow.
egg to whoever is going to be using that Atma weapon, right? Because Atma weapon's damage
Oh, yeah.
is based on level, so that's where that EXP egg would be going right now.
I still would not be opening chests unless I knew where there was elemental shields for sale, and I was trying to gather funds to buy a big stack before Kefka's Tower.
Yeah, also, I have no idea what happened with Double Down's audio. It's weird because he was the last runner that I brought up, and I brought him up separately from the other three, so maybe it was something that got screwed up when I brought him into the stream. Very odd. So he's definitely not cheating. So this race is legit.
Well, when we're broadcasting again live from the top of Kefka's Tower, we're gonna have some signal disruption from time to time.
So we still haven't seen Falcon hit move that Atma weapon onto anybody yet.
Oh, you know what? I think it is. I think you were required to get Terror in this seed. I'm just thinking back through everybody's checks. We didn't see Burning House though, right? So unless Burning House is a character, you had to go get Terra. So remember when I said about, Jexy the only one having Sabin, so that might be ringing true here. Although he's going to do all the checks that all the other runners are doing. So he's not taking advantage of the fact that he has Sabin just yet, right?
Correct. Yeah, I haven't seen him do any of the Sabin checks yet.
Yeah, looting the basement on Double Downside. Oh, they're heading in the sealed cave. They're gonna find a second experience egg in there potentially that Jex found.
Also, good game
30
knowledge for
minutes ago.
Jexy with the vanilla engine pasta. He used the chainsaw on the bottom left one, which is susceptible to instant death, instead of, I think he's swinging the Atma weapon with Edgar. So good heads up game knowledge there to know what parts of the boss are weak to what.
Yeah, great catch. I think we're seeing our last instance of Doom. It should be all caps.
Yes, I believe. Yeah. And yeah, Double Down possibly finding the experience egg and gonna find Sabin at the end of this. And he's done already the checks that Jexy's now doing, so we might see Double Down opting to do some of those Sabin checks.
Yeah, Sabin does have a lot of quickies. Probably
How
Phantom Train
dare you
is the
say that?
longest
Keep
one.
the stream PG-13, Fitz. Come on now.
Fast, low in time checks.
There you go.
Yeah, Kefka the Jester has been definitely killed a couple of times. It's really only making future Kefka angry, to be honest.
Have we seen any of Celeste's checks? No, right? We haven't seen the basement or obviously we
No.
haven't seen Magitech yet. Jeez, that Valiant knife is ridiculous. He just
Yeah, oh my
one-shot
goodness.
Vargas and both of the Apple toilets,
Yeah.
the iPoos.
Oh,
That's crazy.
like in terms of offensive power and seeing how quick these bosses go down, compare that Vargas battle with Gar's Vargas battle earlier. Just that offensive power is ridiculous.
Yeah, I wonder if there was a hit point Esper involved too. With that power level and some of that EXP egg, Mog is really just making sashimi of anything that they come across.
Well, and who was it that bought the red cap? Because that could be another factor in increasing the max hit
That
point
was in
there too.
Miranda. I think that was Double Down, but we know that we saw another runner go to Miranda as well.
Yeah, I believe Falcon hit win as well. So he may have found that as well. That could be another factor. Just contributing to the murder mog that is developing down on the bottom left there.
Mm-hmm. And we are getting our first peek at what Celeste's checks offer. Very good question, Chad. Let's talk about this while we're running through. Do we do Magitech 1 and 2 and warp out? Or we do 1, 2, 3 and get up to 10 bosses?
Yeah, we go for all three, and we hope we get 3 Espers here.
Yeah.
And we'll take the levels from those.
Right,
minecart
exactly.
escape. A little bit of Esperin, maybe a save here. Yeah, I saw HP 100% Esper. And a magic power +1 Esper on Falcon hit screen.
Yeah, so his Mog has 150 HP out of almost 5,000. 185 HP, sorry.
It's time for Piranha Stew.
Yep. We got Jexy doing the Imperial camp here. So another check with some fixed encounters. Opting to go for the months from the box as well. Ooh, a Gigantos. So good EXP there.
A nice big chunk.
Yeah.
They are annoying and can hit hard, but we saw
yeah,
they're vulnerable to instant death, and they just got portaled out of existence.
And just like that, some nice levels there.
Even with 700 hit points, Mog is swinging for 5,000 damage a swing.
And here we go. Let's. Oh, beautiful.
I should play like the Simpsons clip. Stop it! He's already dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know it's just even a little thing that Falcon hit was holding Mog back during the Piranha's part to not overkill and waste precious seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there goes the 3 Esper dream. Hate to see, I guess you're never unhappy to see an Elemental Shield, right? But rather just have 3 Espers and be ready for power.
Yeah, that would bring up then where's Falcon Hit going for that last Esper? Or if we were in their shoes,
in a
where
barter
would we
seat,
go?
Well, right. Normally, when you only have 1 Esper left, you think, okay, to Zen Thief or Auction House. But in a barter seed, that is so much further out of reach than in a normal seed, because you can't just sell a bunch of high-priced junk to get your money to buy all the stuff in the auction house, right? So, very interesting to see what he does here.
And it looks like Cyan was in the basement of South Figaro.
Oh,
Yes, confirmed on the
yeah.
tracker.
Yeah. All right, so that's some quick checks you could do there as well.
Yeah, we might see Gar do this and Dream.
Dream would be a good one. Again, sort of like a multi-tier check or multi-step check with multiple rewards possibly. Got Shadow at Doma Castle. And it looks like immediately saying, nope.
Yeah, that's the thing again with the scaling. It does cap out at 50, but we don't want to get to 50 if we can avoid it.
Right.
And more new characters is just going to open up checks that probably have more characters in them.
Yeah. Well, and Gar is already beyond his required characters to unlock KT, so he doesn't need another character. So seeing that, knowing about the level cap, and deciding I don't want it to get that close to 50. Yeah.
Here's my counter though. It's Shadow, right? And that Doma Siege check is real fast. You just have to literally beat the boss. Shadow has a free check, and he has another peekable check, right? We're not doing floating continent at this point. And of course, as soon as I say that, Gar goes off and does floating continent, right? But in all seriousness, Shadow's got 2 pretty fast checks. So if I were him, I might have just said, screw it, let's get Shadow here anyway, right?
Yeah.
But again, if Gar's been having some struggles with some of these boss fights, maybe he doesn't want to increase scaling more than he needs to, like you guys mentioned.
Yeah, it's really just it's a choice. It's a risk reward factor, and these are the kinds of decisions that make or break runs.
Ooh, Barren Falls, we got an Inferno hanging out in the waterfall. That's also a new fresh check that we haven't seen a reward for. Falcon Head did warp out of that third Magitech check. They did get Bahamut, which is a good Esper for summoning. And heading into Dream, which is another place to, hope to come out 9 Espers by the end of. Oh wow, Double Down and Gar have rejoined each other after wandering in different directions for a while.
Yeah. Let's see if they make the same decision to warp out.
Yeah, that's a good question. We know this first check is a Thunder Shield, which is again nice, but probably not what either Double Down or Gar are looking for. So we're getting close to kind of our runners unlocking KT in the next, 15, maybe 10-ish minutes. If we put ourselves in their shoes, what will we start to be thinking about as we're getting those last progression items?
I would say that I'd possibly thinking about. I mean, if I were Falcon Hit, I would have a lot of confidence right now, with the offensive capabilities of my team, having the items I have, the levels I have, the stat boosts from the Coliseum, like all of those factors going in, I'd be feeling pretty confident. And as we discussed, he also has the most bosses right now, so he could possibly be sitting at doing what you mentioned earlier and going for the skip by using the bosses in Kefka's Tower. So if I were Falcon Hit, that's probably the route I would go. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I would agree. If he sees Esper here for those last 2 dream rewards, he's in go mode and he'll be at 9 bosses. So I think we will see that move. The one thing I always would be thinking is, I think I've seen them pick up a couple mega elixirs on their journey. If there was like a place I knew there was something that I really just wanted to stock up on, I might do a quick shot before I dove in. But they're going really fast. Here we go again. Octopus sliced and diced, gone.
Yeah, octopus sashimi, like you said. Meanwhile, Gar going for Magitech 3. So he did not warp out.
Yeah, if I was feeling like I was kind of struggling a little bit on my boss fights, slow on the levels,
Yeah.
that would make me want to go through all the way to the end and pick up 2 more bosses.
Yeah.
That'll get him to 9.
Ooh, look at that. So now Falcon Hit found Fenrir in Dream 2, as Schwantz pointed out. Pretty good Esper to have. Shout out to Schwantz for he's got a nice video on an Esper tier list if you guys want to learn about what Espers are good to have in your run. Check that out on the
coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon. Yes, it's not out yet. Sorry. But when you get the chance, when it does come out, check it out. It's a great video. It's really informative. And yeah, we've got Fenrir in Dream 2 and an Aura Lance on the throne afterwards. So now, I don't know if you saw, but Falcon Hit was able to Genji Glove equip the Illumina and an Aura Lance on Edgar. So even more power there.
Oh, Atma weapon.
Yeah, I don't see. I'm weird about the Atma weapon. I like to have a shield with it because it'll do less damage with fewer HP. So giving up the shield to me with an Atma weapon is usually something I never do. So this is it's my preference. I don't. What about you guys? When you have an Atma weapon, do you feel like, oh, I need a shield, or is it okay to give up your shield to give either a second offensive ability with your Atma weapon?
I think most of the time I would lean safer. I think with Falcon Hits, like specific composition, like Edgar's my number 2 damage dealer, so I might as well like pump him up even more, because as long as Mog is in the fight, we're gonna win everything.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's hard to. That's a tough question because with Mog being as OP as he could be, more characters,
Ooh,
just
wow.
character after character for Falcon Hit. Yeah.
Would you even
with
check?
Mog being
Would you even check Gao at that? Like, what would Gao have to have on him? It would have to be throw, right? That's the only command that you would even think of putting in your party at this point.
Yeah.
But even then, like, I don't even know if you'd do it.
Not an Esper in the woods. We've been saying Falcon is going fast. They've been spending a lot of time looking for one Esper. So they might be feeling behind right now because of that. It's never good, even when you're going really fast, to just hit so many like dead and character checks.
Yeah, it's never a good feeling, especially not knowing how everyone else is doing. Running into the dead check after dead check, it's kind of like, oh, or maybe not necessarily dead check, but not useful, right? Then it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to be running into these. I need to keep going fast, So see what he might be doing here. Looks like oh, maybe he changed his mind.
Just to note, you do not get more items if you set the clock multiple times. You only get one set of tools and one high tier item.
Oh, he went to the wrong Zozo.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like, yeah.
Yeah, that Golem and Fenrir both calmness protection. Usually we want one. It's nice to have both because then I will use one of those on tier 1 that just punches all the time really hard. It's a nice luxury to have both. Makes tier 1 a lot safer.
Yeah. Yeah, going back to Schwantz's question about like having the shield or just the Atma weapon, yeah, like for me, knowing Moggus as OP as he is, then I would probably go with shield just to have the extra defense and like have somebody who can help just dish out a little bit of damage, but also just be like a utility person. Unless like I was super confident in HP and defense and with a plus 10 stamina from the Coliseum, maybe I would opt to just go for as much damage as possible.
Ooh, we are having Toasty Yeti for dinner. Did you see that? Almost damage cap fire 3. Gotta love it.
Oh yeah. And Falcon hit running into some let's say nice bosses here to round out these last couple of checks he's doing. These are easy bosses. They're gonna go down real quick with the OP Mog, and that's only gonna contribute to him being able to do KT skip.
Yeah, he just unlocked the skip. It said on his
and
screen.
he just found the final Esper he needs too. So Falcon hit sitting pretty here.
So who have we not seen bosses wise? We haven't seen. We saw Doom, but we haven't seen Poltergeist.
We haven't seen
Goddess.
Yeah, correct.
Magi Master, Doom Gaze. We haven't seen a lot of hard bosses yet this seed. So Falcon hit might be skipping out of a disaster here in Kefka's Tower by not having to do the Inferno spot.
Oh yeah, very good point. Because we haven't seen. Yeah. You named them: Goddess, Poltergeist, Doomgaze, Magi Master, and even like some of the Stooges. Let's say, Stooges. Who else is kind of a nuisance? Tritalk.
Double Down sees it's Starlet here at Mobliz, so he's going to be in go mode after this fight as well. And
thank goodness.
You also get credit for 2 bosses here at Mobliz, believe it or not. So Fun Baba 3 counts as a boss, and then the actual boss also counts. So this is a nice This is a nice 2-for-1 play here by Double Down.
I did not know
you're down there. Okay. So then Double Down would have the same thing. He would have access to the skip after this, wouldn't he?
Because he would be at 11 and he could also dip in for Toilet Atma for 12. And then warp out.
Just don't ever say dip in the toilet again.
Dip into the jail to fight toilet ammo. I'm glad we're not being held in that part of Kefka's Tower right now. We got the skybox. Because we're important prisoners, but yeah. Oh, we got a train.
Choo choo.
Got the gauntlet and the meme
Andrew
chest.
saying in the comments, the porcelain protector. That's my new favorite nickname for Atma.
Very nice. We got the
Stooge is here, down here in for Falcon Hit.
We did name a lot of bad bosses out loud, so the racers could certainly blame us for a curse.
Yeah.
If we end up seeing them.
Very true.
And I rolled the seed, so it would be doubly my fault.
I think well, we don't know what was in Burning House, right? But you may have rolled a Kefka and Narsh required seed, so that's kudos to you on that one, Fitz.
You know, I do what I can to make things interesting. We got 2 in the tower. We've got Gar searching for their last Esper. Jax will be getting an Esper here, which will put them 1 away.
Yeah.
They've done less total checks than everyone else. So I'll be curious to see. They've had 2 eggs for a really long time though. So their levels might actually be pretty good for KT.
Yeah.
Gar checking the train. Dead. Gonna reset out of that.
So you have to believe here Double Down's going to fight this boss and then warp out to the... Oh, God.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just... Just big bosses so far everywhere in Kefka's Tower.
Yeah, they may they may be cursing us.
It's okay. It's good practice for the Coliseum, was what I will tell them in the interview afterwards.
Oh man.
So with Poltergeist, if we had like Stop, that would be good to bust out, because they are the one statue we can do that to. We saw a lot of elemental shields, so surviving should be okay, but still scary. Amma can be scary as well. They take a lot of elemental damage, so we're seeing big numbers.
And yeah, Andrew in the chat, yeah, and it is spicy chicken time, as well as the porcelain protector has arrived.
Ooh, Maw going down to that meltdown, or Merton. So Falcon has cleared out 2 of the statues now, or is that the first one for them?
I believe that was the second.
Yeah, he's got one more to go.
It was the second one.
Yeah, I thought I could hear them getting closer to us.
Oh God, big blue bubble. Here's another annoying boss.
We did not say this one out loud.
Oh, so. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did not say this one.
They'll have a lot of hit points at this place too. in the game.
Yeah. Looks like Jexy making his way into KT.
If I didn't think it would wreak havoc on the stream, I would load up the seed and see what the Toilet Atma boss fight is, just to see if this is the worst Kefka's Tower of all time.
Yeah, that's pretty, what is this, like, shuffled high tier boss rush? Yeah, I would say normally too, I've noticed here at the end is where I noticed the big difference in scaling being increased and capped at a higher cap. Is as those scary bosses are beefier and they hit harder.
Yeah.
And they
Kefka's
cast
Tower.
Ultima and Medio, apparently.
Which is, you know, the super funnest. And it's very noisy too. Yeah, this is a high Scoville spicy chicken today.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like
imagine
ghost
going,
pepper.
oh, I only need one more boss for Skip. How bad could it possibly be at the Inferno spot? Jexy about to find this out too.
Ooh, yeah.
These are gonna be. This will be good interview material.
Oh yeah. Well, Falcon Hit making his way. He is ready and about to take on Kefka.
I think they're in the reach of like a sub 120. I mean, they're a very fast racer. And that's not surprising. I think that showcases they went to the clock and they got that VK knife.
Yeah.
And then getting them offering in Ancient Castle, which I don't think we saw anyone else go there either. So we kind of
no one else went to the Ancient Castle
earlier that Falcon Hit was the first one to finish Edgar's checks and therefore got a bonus point, but it really was a big boost.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just saw the levels on Double Down's characters, and he's at level 45, and that spicy chicken still took him a hell of a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, it doesn't help that he has 8 characters and 9 espers too, right? So, actually, I think that's
right.
That's way more than 8 characters, unless I can't math correctly.
I'm trying to do it with my eyes, but then they're all moving around on a screen.
Okay, it's 10.
Yeah. 10 plus 9.
Yes, Kurgzy, the clock is a high tier item. Yeah.
Yeah, Double Down definitely close to max scaling.
By the way, Falcon Hit already took care of T1, so.
My
Yeah,
gosh.
I'll be honest, tier 1 gets me. Actually, anytime I have a VK offering user, I get a little out of control and either like kill too many parts at once and then usually lose that person. And it's definitely cost me some wins when it happens because it's a lot slower when you lose that person going up the rest of the way.
Yeah. Well, and as we mentioned before, Falcon Hit has a lot of insurance options here for Final Kefka as well, with both Golem and Fenrir. However, as Schwantz pointed out, he does not have mute for tier 2 right now, but let's see if that's an issue with how quickly he could, with how much damage he's dishing out.
Yeah, they are really going and wailing away on magic, not having mute.
Ooh. Magic did get a quarter out, but Toilet Atma was El Senor Behemoth. Oh my gosh.
He would have been like ultimating all day for sure. Or medioing, yeah.
Yeah.
got dueling Chads. This is still pretty close. Ooh. Apologies to Ceiling Cat for that.
Yeah. Shout out to Ceiling Cat for going to check that real quick while tracking.
Yeah, they bring so much to the tracking role that, you know, hopefully one day I can be as great at it with practice. I think we saw Falcon Hit kind of do an interesting, different order in taking down Tier 2, where they really went magic hard and then hit, and then Tiger, and then tools last. That is true. As a tracker, once we got the go mode, it's kind of like, yeah, I get to chill now.
Yeah. Right. And Falcon Hit already on Tier 3.
Ultima from Spicy Chicken wiping Gar there.
Oh.
They only had one up, and it was a 4,000 damage. Ultima.
Yikes.
Yeah, and Gar needs 3 bosses to hit the skip here as well.
Yeah.
So they might be going like normal style through here.
We see Falcon Hit opting to use the Fenrir here.
Tier 3 done, sliced, diced. Mog has 3,500 hit points, and I'm pretty sure that's under half of what their total hit points are.
Yeah, because what was it, like 10 minutes ago? Probably more than 10 minutes ago, he was at 5,000 hit points already.
I see Flame Eater going down on double downs.
Yeah, and this Poltergeist is just bullying Gar right now. Let's see if he looks like he's possibly maybe going to re-equip, or let's see what he does here.
Yeah, it's interesting because Jex is really the only of our runners on the restream that didn't overshoot their progression, and should have a little bit easier time with these statue bosses because they're like 5 to 7 lower.
Yeah.
Oh no, out of warp zones on Gar's side. Going to the toilet ammo instead, so we will see.
But he will see Senor Behemoth.
Super Senior.
Out of one Ultima trap and into another.
Yeah. Let's hope we don't see Ultima come out.
And GG's Clown Dust. Look away for a second. Okay, yeah. Dead. We're free. Yes.
Nice. GG Falcon Hit. That Falcon hit hard.
Let me check in the race room, see what our official 1:15:09. A very fast.
Look at that.
We'll see if we can
get
them in for chat.
Music is messed up. I'm sorry, chat.
But we can turn our attention to some of our other runners here in the race for second place. It looks like Gar is taking another shot in there. Jackson's got one more statue to go, but forgot a Moogle charm. Runs into a Hoover.
Oh.
Ooh, X-zoning it, deciding to take this one.
Congrats, Falcon Hit. Nice work there.
Thank you. Am I disappointed that I couldn't find my 9th Esper and get the sub 110? A little bit. Oh, that last Esper was very elusive. I was very annoyed. That's why I did the normal skip, which was a little bit risky, but it's okay, right? Because I jacked up my scaling a lot because of all of the characters that I got. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, we saw that the clock really paid off for you with that VK knife.
Oh yeah, I saw that and I was like, this is a first. Nobody else is gonna do clock.
And you're right, at least on
You're right.
the restream.
Yeah. And opting to do Ancient Castle as well, giving you that offering.
Yeah, when I got the VK, I had to do as many monsters and boxes as I could, right? Because I have to maximize my chance to get a VK, or to get the offering.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the game, that Mog damage was spicy. I even played it super safe and kept Mog at like super high health, and he was still doing 5,000 damage per swing.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a Murder Mog repeat right there.
Yep. Oh, the Moogle Rush against Doom? Perfect. I was like really sweating that Doom fight because like in Barter Seeds you always have very low consumables. Which is why what did I do? I like didn't heal, right? You saw me like flying around with under 500 health on Mog for like the first 40 minutes. That was very, very scary because I used like all of my Phoenix Downs on Doom. But I'm glad it paid off.
Much like on Wednesday's race, Doom gave everybody a problem this.
Nice, glad to hear it. Also,
I think Falcon Hit you now. We should get an emote commissioned for a murder Moogle, like Mog, but just with like a little bit of blood on him somewhere. You know.
Oh,
I think we should do that. Like Mog with a knife with blood hanging off.
That would be great. I've already got another meme in my head lined up.
There we go. Here's Mog.
Yeah. But you were able to opt for the skip, which means you got to skip the spicy chicken.
oh, there was a spicy chicken at Inferno.
Yes.
Ooh.
And every other runner here on the restream has had to contend with that.
Did they get the ammo weapon? I can't remember where I got the ammo weapon because I had one in the inventory in case I was like ran out of MP. Oh, I wanted to say that because you have low consumables, that's why you saw me keep the economizer on Strago when normally I would just switch it out with an earring, because I didn't want to use like MP restoratives or have to use MP restoratives in the final fight.
Yeah.
That economizer like really set up the rest of the seed because I knew I had a straight. Well, if you did box check first, you knew you had a struggle with lore, so the economizer would just like accelerate everything, right? Because you wouldn't have to worry about MP if the Strago had an attacking lore. And even if it doesn't have an attacking lore, the economizer is just really good in Barter Seeds because you don't have to think about MP restoratives.
That's a good point. Fitz, you got any questions for Falcon Hit?
What did you think about those tower bosses?
I had BK offering, so it was not that bad. I can't even remember what they were anymore. Chardanook, I think Chardanook was the most difficult, but only because she was very long.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was Chardanook, there was the Stooges.
Oh, Stooges. Right. Mog hit the blue stooge. I remember, and then
Yes.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be one of those ways. I'm just glad that Mog had elemental protection, although he did have a lot of health, right? Because that's the upside of using a VK user. They just have a lot of health, so you don't really need defense on them, because they can just like tank the damage.
Yeah, I mean, and just contributing to the murder Mog, you have VK, you've got Offering, but you also have an Esper, which was what was it, Fitz? 150 or 100%?
It was a plus 100% HP
Yeah.
Esper too. Yeah. All the tools.
That's also, or well, my playstyle tries to maximize Esper bonuses. That's why you didn't see me do Kefka and Narsh early, because part of it is the lack of items, right? Because Barter Seed. Normally, if I want to do Kefka and Narsh, I like to stock potions, but you can't really do this in this kind of seed. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do all the quick checks with my characters, and if I'm down to like Burning House, I'll just go back for Terra.
Yeah, so out of all the different Coliseum flags that you've played so far, which one has been your favorite and your least favorite?
My most favorite is Locke because I am a sucker for chess, and 100% chess randomization is fantastic. And I think my least favorite is Sabin. It's like a toss-up between Sabin and Go-Go. Sabin because it's not like you don't do anything, but you like, I don't know. I guess you just have to make decisions. It's like how do I describe this? It's like offensive. It's like a physical seed because Esper bonuses are 0 to 2, but you don't have like the vigor to back it up like you do in a Cyan, where you can get like plus 30 vigor. So you're just like auto attacking a lot because you just have no magic if you don't get like a shield. And then Gogo's is just like, it accelerates very quickly because of the scaling party highest one on experience. And also, the one Go-Go seed I ran, I had Ultima on my like first Esper, and I was like, oh, the seed is like super trivial now. Wow.
Very fair. Definitely appreciate you sharing. I don't think I have any more questions. Just checking out some of our other runners here. Still getting through some of these bosses. I will say, how do you approach managing such a high damage character like Mog heading into the tiers of Kefka? What do you do to like keep from killing too much too fast?
It's mostly experience. I count a lot of damage, especially in tier 2. I knew that Mog had hit magic more times than the other parts, so I was using Meteor, which I call Merton at home. I was using Meteor because it does fixed damage because it ignores defense. So it'll always do the same amount of damage, so it's good. It's easier to keep track of the damage in my head. And then I know that magic would take more damage because I have Edgar as a single target attacker. So I didn't have mute, right? So I wanted magic to die first. So you just focus all your damage on magic. If Mog's swings are like didn't hit magic a lot, I would probably stop attacking with Mog until magic died, either through a combination of Fire 3 and Edgar swings. But like, it didn't, so I was able to do it really, really quickly. And then again on tier 3, I knew that it was 2 on late, 2 on girl, 2 on rest. I needed to deal 10,000 damage. I knew Mog was going to deal 20,000 damage, so I needed to deal 10,000 damage. I thought that Edgar would be able to do it, but he needed 2 turns. And then after that, it was just very simple.
Yeah, great answer. We did just see Chad take out Gar with like a surge, I think that was.
Yeah.
Cool. Hate to see it.
So yeah, we definitely saw other racers overrun scaling too, and I was pointing out that I've noticed in my just practice that the change to 2.5 and capping it at 50 is noticeable at the end, especially when we like run over progression trying to get the KT unlock.
Yeah, the 2.5 is such a huge change. It seriously changed the way I approached the seeds, because before I was just like going, but when I ran my like second run through with the 2.5, I was like dying so much in the mid game. Usually due to overscaling, like you said. This is why in this seed you saw me level at World of Ruin Narsh as a safety precaution. Because yeah, when you get to like 6 characters and espers, everything just starts killing you. It's mysterious in that way. But
Yeah,
That's always scary.
That's also why I really wanted the tools, because my first 2 tools were chainsaw and air anchor, and there are a couple of enemies that don't like mesh well with that. So I was like, oh, I really want a flash, but I couldn't find a flash. So I was like, I'm just gonna. Well, I declared that I was gonna do clock before the race, and I did clock before the race, or I did clock in the race. So yeah, that VK though. I saw that, and you saw how fast I looked at that VK's equip permissions, and I was like, boom, on log instantly.
Love to see it. Alright, Gar able to take out Chad here. Moving past another statue.
very nice. Yeah, we see a couple of our other runners getting close to the GGs here.
Yeah, Javinator in chat saying he found like 10 characters.
Yeah, the C did not want to give out the espers, but it also put the hard bosses in the tower. I know I learned a lot just watching, and I think Falcon had a couple great points just around that little tweak in the scaling between what we're used to and kind of the new tweaks. It's noticeable, and it definitely has made me rethink a little bit what I do in like the middle of a run.
Definitely, yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying there about on the surface, like if you just read the notes about 2.5, in your head probably like doesn't compute right away, but then being in a run and actually seeing the results, it's kind of like, oh snap, that's scary. Yeah, Javinator on the Velt running into pugs, and then a white dragon. Yikes. Alright, double down. There we go.
Got some more GGs all around. Want to thank Falcon Head for their interview. We got Jax coming in. Yeah. Congrats, GG. How you feeling after that seed?
I feel okay about it. I know one of the major mistakes that I made, but it is what it is. That was doing Kefka at Narsh at a low level the way I did. That was a mistake. I should have came back to it.
Yeah, I think you were the first one to take that. We saw others go back kind of after. Honestly, a bit running out of choices given the starting characters. But you were doing a good job using that IO rage to make short work of the fights there.
Yeah, IO rage was great. IO and Prussian. Those two starting rages, I'm just like, all right, it's on like Donkey Kong. Because both of them are very good rages. One of them is fire based with a high multiplier, and Prussian is just flare, just a faster animation. And when I saw Strago and it's just Lone Wolf I came up, saw Terra, I was like, okay, that's good, that's really good. And then I saw Strago, and then Lone Wolf offered me the EXP egg. I'm just like, oh, this is a dilemma. Do I go for the character? I can always go back and get him. Take the EXP egg. Let's level up Mog.
Yeah, and I believe you were the first one to find the second experience egg in the sealed cave. And how did that
there
feel?
Was that. Well, it's not even so much the sealed gate having the second EXP egg. It's the fact that I found a shop filled with them.
Mm-hmm.
So and I accidentally
had
EXP eggs. And I accidentally bought one extra EXP egg that I did not need. So I was a little not thrilled about that because I wanted to try and save my cash for just in case I ran into something significant, like Ragnaroks or Illuminas, which I didn't.
Yeah, so
but I also did not.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I was gonna say.
I'm sorry. Nope. Go.
I already lost my train of thought.
My bad. So you had said that you felt bad about doing Kefka at Narsh at the low levels, but you were the first person to have Terra, and I think Terra opened up a lot of the seed. Unfortunately for you, you got Terra and then Sabin early, so you had just access to so many checks, and I think that's might have what bogged everything down towards the end, right?
Yes and no. It was the fact that my early game fights were taking way too long. That was the problem. Because I didn't have earrings at the time. I only had the EXP eggs to level up. My tools options were not very great. So that was definitely something that bogged me down. And having to rely upon rage instead of consistently using magic, that slows you down as well.
Mm-hmm. So, I believe only one of our runners on the restream tonight actually went for the clock at Zozo. Was that something you had considered?
Absolutely not. Especially since the clock is on random RNG. So I did not feel like having to sit down with a piece of paper and write everything down, figure out all the clues and all that fun stuff. I would rather spend 2 extra minutes looting chests and checking shops rather than going to get, a set of tools and a single high tier item. To me, that was out of the question.
I see.
Now, the Coliseum bonus, absolutely, all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Plus 10 to everything. There's no reason to not do that. That's a nice big boost, plus finding a magic +2 and a magic +1 Esper, and 800% HP Esper. Because I ended up with that Atma weapon, which did a lot of legwork at the end there. There was just so many minuscule little factors. And like I said, early game, I bogged myself down with fights that I should have just did extra grind fights, leveled up the entire party rather than just focused on Mog, and then done the Kefka at Narsh stuff. Because what was the first 2 fights I did were worthless. They gave no EXP, so I had to go rely on the Mesosaurs, which were running away on me, and then what I had that other the sub boss that's running back and forth on the back line there before you hit Kefka. That guy gave some EXP, which allowed Mog to be swinging for 2,000 on Landslide, which I dropped 3 of them in a row, which was awesome.
Nice.
Aside from that, my one strategy was try to keep my checks tight and close together. Try to reduce my flight time in the airship. That was one of my big things to try and do that.
Yeah, and I would say, like, out of all the runners you on the stream, you're the only one that didn't go over on the number of characters or espers needed. So we saw that your bosses were not hitting as hard, nor as tanky as what the rest of the racers were navigating. Was that something you were keeping in kind of the back of your head too, of not
after? So I did end up with 8 characters, and I thought about it afterwards because I did the I ended up with Cyan, so I went over to Doma. I'm like, all right, that's a fast check. Yeah, because Cyan was in the South Figaro basement. I did M-Tech. One of them was a dead check, so I'm like, all right, I need one more Esper. Did the Doma Castle. There was Shadow. And I saved before I did the Doma fight. I went in, saw Shadow, I reset, and I'm like, wait a minute. Shadow has a freebie check. Okay, let's go in and actually do that fight. Led to Gal on a freebie check, and I should have just reset right after that and hightailed it over to Moblez, and just gone back on that save just to keep the levels even lower on the enemies.
Ouch. We're gonna pour one out for Gar there. Ran into a real nasty tier 4.
F's in the chat there.
After getting bullied by Spicy Chicken.
Yeah. He's been bullied all over the place. Spicy Chicken, Chad.
Spicy Chicken was a mean one.
Oh yeah.
Chad I wasn't too worried about. Spicy Chicken, I'm like, all right, well, this is going to be a little risky. Hopefully my meat shield comes into play. And then after I killed Spicy Chicken, I'm like, KT skip unlocked. It's on. Warp out. Get to the statues. Save myself, a few more minutes of time. And just roll right in. The gauntlet fights at the end there, the statues, they were actually pretty tame to what I was expecting. Doom, where was Doom? Doom was somewhere else. Doom was mean.
Yeah, Doom was everybody hit Doom.
I think it was Devitt's Rock.
Relatively.
It was either
Daryl's Tomb
or Daryl's Tomb. Yeah.
Daryl's Tomb. Daryl's Tomb is what. Yep. Daryl's Tomb. Yeah.
Yeah, I let Strago drop off the cliff, so it was definitely not edits.
Right.
Well,
yeah, I don't think we'll be getting
I'm gonna wrap it up
for interviews, so I guess we'll kick it around for final impressions. Start with you, Jax.
All right. Well, anybody who's new to Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, your first time viewing it, go to ff6wc.com. Come check come check out the Discord. We got a great community that we're willing to, show you what you need to do. We're willing to teach you. Everyone is really nice and friendly. Come in and say hello.
Yeah, thank you. Prebz, I'll throw it to you. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts
GGs.
is, GG's to our runners. Final thoughts would be, check out, I mean, if you enjoyed this seed and seeing kind of the unique flag set here with Edgar's Chainsaw, follow the Worlds Collide Twitch channel. We'll probably be streaming out some more of these with the other unique character flag sets, because that's what the Coliseum 2 is all about. And to visit our Discord, as Jexy just pointed out, so you can see more about what the Coliseum 2 is. Please feel free to sign up if you are a runner, if you are part of the FF6 Worlds Collide community. Sign up for the Coliseum 2. It's going to be awesome, and the more people we get involved, it's just a better time for everybody. And if you are new, I'm also new, and I love it. And Jexy's right. This is a really, really friendly community. We all love to, we all love this game. We all love Final Fantasy VI. We love to play and communicate and be part of this awesome community. So join the Discord. Check out the website, check out our Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is FF6WC, and Twitter, I believe, is FF6_WC.
Excellent. And I will go ahead and close us out. So yeah, thanks again to the runners. Thanks to my commentary team, Prebz and Schwantz, for jumping in and on the restream, Ceiling Cat with the tracking and the chat participation. Thanks everyone out there for watching. I want to reiterate again, still plenty of time to sign up for the Coliseum. Get up to speed, knock off the rust maybe. If you've been watching for a while, but it's been a bit since you've played. I always just love to see the community growing and new racers coming in, and we do a good job of helping people out, so it's not like no one's got to figure it out on their own. But for the Worlds Collide team here, gonna sign off. One free fits. Have a nice night. Stay warm out there.
We finally got rescued. It's to be free. To be free. We are going to be raiding Infinite Fluff, who is actually playing this very seed.
Perfect.
Yeah, so
let's give them some huge support.
Give them some support as they finish up, and thank you all for making the show awesome. Thank you guys for doing commentary, Ceiling Cat for the tracking. I'll thank myself for restreaming, because I'm not I'm not humble at all. So we'll see everybody on the next one. Bye bye.
Bye bye everybody.
Good night.